back in 1946. And I think we'll do a couple more here. So this is west of Globe, Arizona, 1947, north of Superstition Mountains. This is page 93, case A10. The primary witness was in the Navy during World War II. And he's driving down the road with a friend. They're on a Jeep. It's an unimproved road. And they run across a UFO crash retrieval operation in the midst of it actually going on. They're challenged by two guards with rifles, and they're ordered to vacate the area immediately. But it was already too late because they saw the beginning operation of this whole retrieval system here. Another 100 feet down this unimproved road, they saw this 30-foot diameter dish-shaped craft. It was about 18 feet high. It had augured in at a 40-degree angle. It had a low-rise dome. There were two rings wrapped around the outer circumference. Between these two rings were what looked like indented windows, and they're looking at all this. They got a real good view of this. So I took this information from the primary eyewitness, factored in Rudy's drawing, and we came up with this full color rendering if we were actually there. This is something that, would have been retrieved. Now, if you think about the timeline here, we're still really not at Roswell yet. And if you go back in time, you've got Cape Girardeau, that's 1941. We've got one craft, 3 bodies recovered there. If you go to Battle Los Angeles, there were 2 craft recovered, Battle Los Angeles. That was in 1942. If you go back even further to 1933, there was a UFO crash retrieval in Italy back in 1933. So even before Roswell, we're already 4 to 5 crash retrievals into this already, and the body count keeps going up. I think we can do 1 or 2 more here. This is White Sands Missile Range, July 4th, 1947. Primary source was a technical sergeant, U.S. Army. This is page 196. This whole thing came down at night. It was 150 feet in diameter. It was excruciatingly well lit. They had mobile light towers. They had searchlights. They had floodlights on this thing. They had people with Geiger counters crawling up on the rim of the disc. They had people with still photographer cameras. They had motion picture film reels going. So there is documented evidence of this retrieval. This is something that could be subpoenaed, brought into a court of law, and eventually, hopefully, brought into congressional hearings. And this is our full color rendering of what that craft looked like at night. This is 1947 White Sands Missile Range.
Very nice.
I think we'll do one more. This is Carrot Patch south of Salinas, California, July, August 1947. This was seen by 2 19-year-old workers. The craft had come down the evening before. The foreman alerted the 2 19-year-old workers. This is the original sketch within the report. It was 9 feet in diameter, had a kind of a flat top, 4 feet tall. It had a double row of indented windows wrapped around the outer circumference. Here's the map on where the craft came down. You can see X marks the spot. Highway 101 is off to the left. So if you keep on going north, you'd get to Salinas here. And this is the first pass drawing of what this craft looked like with this flat top on a 9-foot diameter dish-shaped craft. Full color rendering, first pass. And then this is Rudy's drawing of what this craft looked like. Now, when the military convoy arrived, these 2 eyewitnesses were told to immediately vacate the area, but they saw this entire retrieval operation going on where the craft was lifted onto the trailer of the 6x6 troop transport, and they moved this thing out of here. This is the full color rendering of what this craft looked like. So I just wanted to cover just a couple of very minor cases within the Stringfield collection, and it's still great to be with all of you here.
Very well done, Michael. That's beautiful work, and the renderings look incredible.
No one does it better than Michael.
Okay, shall I remove that now?
There you go.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Yes, that's wonderful. I mean, I'm always at awe when I see your work there. I'm be honest with you, I am, and I like to dive in. I like to know more about what actually happened in 1933 in Italy during the Mussolini. Mussolini. But the stories I'm hearing, snippets, is that it was actually moved off to, I think it was Austria or some bloody place like that. And the Nazis were working on, that's part of the technology they were working on the bell. So
yeah, Ryan Wood just released an updated version of his Magic Eyes Only book, and he's got multiple crash retrievals in there. That case is in there, and it's a little bit nebulous on what the craft looks like. Some say it was a dish-shaped craft. Some say it was more acorn-shaped, kind of like Kecksburg. So I think the jury is still out on what the configuration looks like. But the point being is that these cases go back long before Roswell,
Yes, most definitely. I mean, it goes back to the 15th century where they actually put posters up on walls saying about the battle that was going on in the sky, you know, and of course the church turned around and says it's an omen of God, you know, everybody should kind of, you know, like turn to the church and, you know, renew your faith and everything, superstition stuff, you know. But yes, all these encounters and things happening, it's been going on since, well, I mean, I have my own theory, but then again, I'm a firm believer that a lot of aliens we actually encounter here, especially abductions and stuff like that, are actually earthbound aliens. And honestly, I sincerely believe they are from the depths of our ocean. The ocean's been around a lot longer than the land, and if living beings can evolve over 200 million years, well, just imagine how much would have evolved in the oceans over 4.5 billion. And actually, as Robert Bell would say, that's only speculation. It could be 8 billion years old. I mean, because you can only do a timestamp on organic. You can't do it on natural mineral, unfortunately, unless there's organic in it. So it's sort of speculation.
Well, they actually could if they looked at it differently, if they used frequency physics instead of using this grit model and this materialistic, mechanistic stuff that they're all confined to. Tesla had it, Maxwell had it, Keeley had it, Heaviside, Whitehead, Bone, Dirac. I mean, there's all these people that have all pointed to the thing that is the ether, is what they typically refer to it as, but it's the atmosphere, the space we exist in. I jumped in. I've been having a bit of fun going in and trolling the physics groups and the folks that are in there parroting all this stuff of high octane speculation using math models and machines to come up with some formula. They're basically taking all this quantum math and mechanics and putting formulas to metaphysics, stuff that's been done for a long time. And they still can't figure it out because they're using all the wrong variables, in my opinion. And the fact is that everything that exists is in the air, in the atmosphere that we exist in. I went in and I said, hey guys, space is a vacuum and nothing is supposed to exist in a vacuum. How do the planets exist in a vacuum?
Actually, quote, hey, NASA had to clear barnacles. NASA had to clear barnacles off the I think it was space station some years back, if I remember rightly.
Well, yeah, but my point is that space is where everything is, because everything that we experience from this consciousness perspective and sensory set we have is this materium we exist in. And we get little glimpses and flashes, and people have varying degrees of automatic connections and capabilities to the consciousness, to the energy and frequencies that are out there. But nonetheless, we all exist in this materium space. Well, the science is all based on this materium. They're finally starting to realize that everything is a wave. This is what Tesla et al. That I mentioned earlier. The ether is a fluid motion. It is a constant set of infinite frequencies that just has a characteristic of in motion, always moving some way, and seems to be always creating more of itself. So there's constant creation. There's no contraction of the universe. Everything is expanding because that's the nature of the universe, which is consciousness. So all this stuff is something that is actually so much easier to think about because space is where it's at. If there wasn't space, none of this would have a place to be in space. It's and everything that we need, water, communication, the 0 point energy, directs C. The idea that in the ether is where everything is. That's what Tesla was doing wireless energy on. And all of those techs, this goes back to the disclosure versus exposure. The guys that have been holding on to this stuff, not only the government, but more particularly the corporations and the subcontractors and all the levels of the black, beyond black and down to black, all of that stuff is existing, has been around, and they've known about it for decades, and they've kept it. They haven't been nice and shared it with the rest of the kids, and that is what is going to piss off the peeps. That's where people are going to go, all right, you guys, you've kept the good stuff, the toys, the ice cream, and all the wonderful things from the rest of us, and we could have had a different world had you shared.
Mm-hmm. Okay. B, did you see that question?
That's what's going to piss people off.
Yeah, I hear. B, did you see the question there from Eric? Hello. Sorry, I'm still wondering where I missed the pivot. I jumped on late. I'm like, I thought this was positive thinking. Positive thinking to transform your life. And then I'm like really listening to everything. Hi, Eric.
Yeah, hey, Eric. We actually covered that a little while ago. I think 80% of somewhere around, give or take, is ours. The rest
I
is
said 80
theirs,
to,
and who knows?
80 to 90% from my end.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and there's a definition out there of UFOs and UAPs. UAPs if we make it, UFOs if they make it. That they made it.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's probably the best way to describe it. But I know I'm excited about what could happen. But again, there's so many people say the same exact thing. And now there's, I met Linda Moten Howe back in the 70s. And she basically said the same thing for the whole 70s. I mean, she had an incredible experience where the government actually gave her tons of raw material, photographs, videotape, 16 millimeter, 35 millimeter, and even large format images from RB-36. They flew in formation with a group of flying saucers. This is back early 50s. And she was going to put together a tell-all. Okay, this is exposure, to quote Robert. And she was about 60 or 70% of the way through. And of course, she had signed all the NDAs. They came in, they paid her for full. They paid her in full of what she was contracted for, but they took everything and they said, you can't say anything about it. But she saw a whole bunch. She saw all sorts of stuff. Now I don't know if they could enforce an NDA today. I don't know. It's just I don't want to leave this planet, but I think I know it'll be another 25, 30 years. Is without knowing the truth.
Right.
I think it's important, especially for the group that we have right over here. So I will relinquish the floor. Heidi, you're on mute right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't trust.
Hey guys, look, here's something I want to show at the moment. It's a little snippet of video that will play straight away. So just keep an eye on this one.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. This happened in 2016. I think it's April 4th or April 12th or something around that. Now, if you look, there's a large craft at the top, and just passing the telegraph pole, you actually see the smaller craft moving. I actually took this video with a Galaxy S5 5 cell phone, and that was at 20 to 5 in the morning. And I've actually got close-up photographs of it, and the actual small craft was it's got like a rectangle shape and had like 3 black hot plates underneath. And when I actually took a photograph after this, I can't just bring it up at the moment. Anyway, what actually happened after I took the photograph, the small craft glowed and it went about 10 or 15 times brighter, like a large orb. Then it split up into 3 parts. One went north, one went south, and one went shooting east. And just like flash lightning, bang, gone. And it was fake. Now, but the thing is that the one in the middle, the large one up top, to look at, it actually looks like, have you ever seen the what do you call it's a capping stone of Ra? Oh, let's see. I can't bring. I've got it here. Have I got it here? Have I got it there? No, I haven't. Look, if you've seen a capping stone of the sun god Ra, where you've got the wings coming out and a round dome in the middle, and the wings actually showed feathers. Now, this is what this craft looks like blown up close.
It's the Romulan. It's the Romulans are coming in.
Oh, I nicknamed it. I nicknamed it my Anunnaki starship for my own personal sense of humor, sort of thing. But it was. I'll send it to you sometime, Michael. You can have a good look at it, video and all. Okay. So, yeah, a later date. I will do a proper presentation.
Oh,
I actually, yes, sorry. Oh, sorry. I'll bring that off screen.
I was going to say, when you videoed that, how did you feel? Like I feel like that question before, when you spot a ship, it's either you have this energetic reaction or you don't, and then I can kind of, that's a man-made one.
Okay, well, how I actually felt at the time, I'm just trying to remove it from the. Where did I do it? Where did I do? Just me. It's just me, isn't it? You know, you want something to work, it doesn't work. Yeah, it's live. Sorry, guys. Anyway, I'll remove. I'll find it in a minute. Here we go. I got show. Okay. And it's still like, okay. How do I remove this? How do I move it? It's stuck.
Isn't it? You scroll underneath us, right? There's so many of us. You probably have to go down to the second row.
Yeah, I'll find it. Remove from stage. Here we go. Sorry about that, guys. Where was I? Mental block. Senior moment.
Heidi asked you about what did you feel when you
experienced
that. Sorry.
I was on the way. Like I was doing IT. I worked for the McDonald's Restaurant Corporation. You know, doing the maintenance and everything else. And it was I was on the way to work, early start. And as I just coming through the traffic lights, in my peripheral vision, I saw like a shooting star, but it stopped on a dime. Nothing I could do. I was driving. I was going, and within another 20 yards, I was going to turn right, and phone was in my pocket. Couldn't do anything, so I pulled into the car park and hopped out, parked in my vehicle, and walked down towards the front door of the restaurant where I was working. I looked up, and I could see the star moving. You know, I thought, so I get out my phone, and I'm taking a video, that short video of it, and it just really. I mean, with the Galaxy S5 smartphone, you can't really enlarge, but you can do it with a still photograph. So I thought, okay, I'll take a still photograph. And it's after that photograph I took it. It just, how did I feel? My heart was racing, mate, because it's not the first UFO. So I've always seemed to bump into these damn things, and I don't know. It's. Jim knows a bit about my past there. I mean, there's things I can say and things I can't say because I have signed an NDA, you know, non-disclosure agreement, you know. So many years ago, I was in RCT, Raw Corps Transport. I spent nearly 10 years in Britain, and I was in the British Army. So just before the end of the Vietnam War, I was actually sent with a team to Cambodia to retrieve something. That's all I can say. I mean, I can't say anymore.
Interesting, yeah.
Well, that explains your accent. Now we understand why I keep going from British to Australian, British Australia. Which one is he? Which one is his accent?
Well, I was born in Sydney, New South Wales. My father was demobbed from the Royal Marines in Australia after the Second World War. And in 1964, his father died. So he decided to go back to England to look after his mother in her twilight years. So he dragged the whole family there. It was an experience, and I thank my father for it. God rest his soul now. But I managed to see a lot of Europe because of him. I was based in Bielefeld, Germany. I had a lot of exercises with Americans and everything. I was involved. I even had a beautiful couple of days in a chieftain tent under the Rhine River on exercise, and I was conned into it. My sergeant thought it was quite amusing. Go hop in that tank and go with them. Well, you know, he didn't tell me that it was going to be submerged under the Rhine River for bloody 2 days, hiding. And, hey, you know what it's like being in a small chieftain tank with 3 other people, and you got to go to the toilet? Not pleasant, my friend. Anyway, Chastity,
giggle.
you're being very quiet there, sitting there. You're an outsider looking into the ufology side. So what's your take on all this, sweetie? I mean,
so I mean, I believe it all. I believe I do believe a lot of the craft that people probably see these days is probably more ours, but I do definitely believe that there is other life. I think it's kind of silly, but I guess I understand that's the programming of people that think that there's not other life out there. I think that's very wild. I think we may even interact day to day with people that we may not even know. I think the veil is thinning, and I think we are starting to see things more and more. So yeah, I believe the sky's the limit. I believe anything's possible. Anything. It's all possible. That's how I feel.
most definitely. I totally agree with you there. And
Yeah.
but when it comes to technologies, I mean, what they kind of released over the last couple of years, you know, these laser cannons and these projectiles things, you know, well, you've got to realize what we see is technology that's over 30-year-old. They're not going to show you the real good stuff. That's the thing. I mean, you don't show the ace card. Would you agree on that? Would you agree on that, Michael?
I've heard
I
3
concur. I
dimensions
concur.
as well.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
That's for sure. And James,
Yes.
Mr. James C. Goodall.
Well, I mean, a good example of that, the original Blackbird, the A-12, Oxcart was his code name.
Your baby.
Yeah. It first flew in 1962, and finally in 1988, after it had been retired for 20 years, they announced the existence of a program that came before the SR-71. And that was the A-12. And I knew it, but apparently the rest of the world didn't know it. I mean, it was just, but anything any gee whiz new thing that the military is going to show, it's probably 20-year-old technology.
Yep. The classic example to that one too is with the GPS. I mean, all the submarines around the world, you know, the Polaris submarines and the Yanks, what you guys had, they had the GPS something like 36 years before the old rack system, you know. They're about a meter wide and about 2 foot thick, you know, and they used to put them on racks. And then all of a sudden they released it. Then it went down from a touchpad.
Yeah.
Down now, it's in your cell phone. I mean, it's unbelievable how this technology moved once it made public. And but what
I bet it'd be hard for us to fathom, really, the technology that they're using. It probably wouldn't process if we saw whatever.
Well, here's the mind-boggling thing. During the Second World War, that they came out with transistor radios just after the Second World War. 4 transistors these things had. That's all they had in these radios. Now we're looking at our cell phone now with 28 million, maybe more transistors in a cell phone. You know what I mean? The mind-boggling thought of saying, hey, we can actually look, you would have said 40 years ago, 50 years ago, you'd be able to talk to somebody on the other side of the world on your phone and look at them and listen to music at the same time. They'll look at you like you're crazy. They really would.
The equivalent technology that you have in a new iPhone 15 or whatever it is today. You have more computing power in your back pocket or your carry-on or in your purse or your jacket, wherever you put your cell phone. I just had an evil thought.
It's more technology to what landed man on the moon. That's a fact.
No, it's more technology in the mid 1980s that existed in the world combined.
Yeah, exactly. And it's actually mine. But what people don't realize, innovation. Going back 1940, Dick Tracy, you'd call him Go Gomez, with his smartphone.
If you have an Apple smartwatch or a Google smartwatch, that's exactly what you have. Plus, it'll give you your A1C data on it. It will give you your pulse and your heart, and your heart rate and your blood pressure,
exactly.
And everything you never really wanted to know about your body. Look, I'm an old fat guy. Just leave me alone. I don't want anybody. I don't want to know.
Are you saying those devices are a little TMI there, Jim? It's like I don't.
Yeah, it is too. Yeah, way too much. Way too much.
Hey, do y'all? I'm butting in for Eric. Did y'all see Eric's question about that craft that went to the next atmosphere really, really fast? Any thoughts on that, panelists? I'm asking for him.
Michael actually did a presentation last show you done, wasn't it, Michael? On a spacecraft?
Yeah,
Sorry,
one of
Michael,
them.
I didn't see that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't.
Okay.
The only
Have
thing
you got that available with you at the moment there, Michael, at all?
Let me see here.
Tell us about it if you can.
Sure.
If possible.
Okay, let me see here.
Well, while he's looking, I'll share the information that I understand about that. Michael Sala's done a bunch of work on an arc out in just off the Caribbean and out into the Atlantic that remote viewers have gone and gathered a bunch of data and have corroborated the eyewitness that Sala found out about this thing. And what it is apparently they call it an arc of million years, because it has all this library kind of information. It's got some pods and so forth. And it's supposedly supposed to be for the evacuation, if necessary, of human life from the planet. And there's supposed to be several of these. Now, I haven't heard of any of them coming out of the ocean and going up into the atmosphere, but we've seen plenty of anecdotal reports by people who have witnessed that kind of phenomenon. Some kind of vessel coming up out of the water or going into the water and traveling as fast under the water as they would in the air. So obviously some kind of physics that is beyond the current models that we're using. And I think it's frequency physics, and they actually already know about it. They just don't want the rest of the kids to be able to play with it, because then all of a sudden we'll be even more difficult to manage than we are now. Because once we have all this knowledge, like we were talking today on Heidi's show with Sherry, once the knowledge of the stuff that starts becoming freely available, which is antithetical to the narrative that we've been given, and we realize the power of our existence within the existence we exist in, you can't hold stuff back from that. That's just a formula for awesomeness. And that is what I think is we're about to see coming forward. Heidi and Sherry are teaching this next generation of this awareness of reality. And we were talking today, I got just a huge pump in the heart with, hey, think about the generation after the ones that Heidi and Sherry are teaching. That generation of kids is going to have this whole completely other dimension of reality and knowledge. And
I couldn't get over.
So amazing.
Yeah, you brought us to tears, Robert. It was so sweet.
Hey, Heidi, I couldn't get over. I couldn't get over the psychic power of these kids.
Yeah,
I know, right?
It's
Did you hear my little?
unbelievable.
Yeah.
They had the blindfolds on.
Yeah.
They were picking things up
Yeah,
random.
yeah.
And they're telling
Yeah.
saying, this is what it is. That's what it is. You know,
Yeah.
it's shaped like
Hey,
that.
I've actually
Unbelievable.
got that video queued up if you guys would like
Yeah.
to see it again.
Go for it. Magic.
Wait,
Go
can I
for it.
tell you real quick about this little girl on campus though? We have a huge backfield. I mean, this is LA, and we're like, you wouldn't know it. You do a 360 and you're in animals, woods, the works. And she was having a moment with another girl. It's the 9-year change. And she saw her across the field, and you just saw her like firing up. And she was looking at her, and then she just moved her body towards her. And I looked across the field, the girl fell.
Oh no.
Oh,
I was like, did you just do
Okay.
that, Ellie? And she was like,
Oh, God.
so it's, yeah, I just wanted to share that. Okay, I'm muting.
that's awesome. That was awesome, Heidi. All right, so this is a short piece. It's a couple of clips out of Caroline Corey's documentary Superhuman: Making the Invisible Visible. And this is about 10 minutes out of 2 hours. And it was relevant to the topic we talked about on Heidi's show today, the innate psychic ability of children. So I wanted to show some of the research and the experiments that have been going on, because this was from 2021. And I can only imagine what these kids are doing now. So give me a 5x5 if you can hear it okay.
Yep, it's fine.
We exist as physical beings in a physical reality, while our mind is in constant communication with unseen forces in unknown worlds. We are the visible part of a potentially infinite, invisible realm. How do the two worlds, mind and matter, coexist, collide, and interact?
Because the energy is all around us and energy is all connected to all different types of energy, you can communicate with all types of different things.
In your head, you just need to think, please may I turn my energy on, or anything like that, a trigger of energy, and then just turn it on.
And to Joseph.
It's quite a warm sensation inside your body, it's quite tingly. And then your subconscious mind kind of realizes it.
As a kid, I met him down this alleyway, and ever since we've been playing in my head or somewhere else.
But he speaks energy, it doesn't speak our language.
Like many children, when I was young, I was very, very sensitive. Even at the age of 5, I realized I could perceive the subtle energy. I would look at someone and I would see the energy around them. I could feel the emotions, what they were going through. I would put my hand up and I could hear their thoughts sometimes. That got me on a journey of discovery and research in the field of consciousness, how consciousness works in the physical world, and how we can answer some of these questions. For example, when we sense the presence of someone, but there's no one there, what are we tapping into? What are we coming in contact with? How can we perceive an event before it happens or remotely at a distance? Is it possible to change the chemistry of your body or even your DNA? How is it that you can move a physical object without any contact with this physical object? Or use your consciousness to see without your physical eyes?
The rain was tapping, and the windows and the wind was banging.
These are the phenomena that we're exploring here with a new scientific approach that could potentially explain it all. And it turns out that this field that we call parapsychology is not only widespread, but it is universal. My theory is when we perform PK or any other mind over matter exercise, our consciousness switches the brain from linear functioning, firing randomly in different areas, to 100% capacity, whereby the brain functions as a whole. Anyone can do this. In fact, without knowing the anatomy of the brain, all you have to do is focus your intent on the center of the brain. And that information is then distributed through the corpus callosum to the two hemispheres, which allows you to understand what's going on, and through the endocrine system, which then allows you to feel what is going on. Because the brain is now engaged at its full 100% capacity, you can now perceive and experience things beyond the normal human range, meaning beyond time and space. If this is true, then we should be able to transcend any limitation of our physicality, perhaps even our eyesight. Our first stop is in the UK, where we encounter children who are using blindfolds to access their superhuman abilities. We're going to play some games. Put your blindfolds on for me, please. Ready? Justin, tell me what's on this card.
Teacup.
And now tell me what's on this card.
Tiger.
Isabella, what is the shape and color of this stone?
Kind of like a circle, and it's not really, it's kind of like see-through.
Here's yet another example of how consciousness can interact with the physical world beyond what science claims to be possible.
When we work with the blindfold, it's so that we can encourage the children to use the vision that they have with their higher consciousness.
Evie, tell me the shape and color of the stone.
It's red and kind of a circle.
Yes. Evie, tell me what I'm holding in my hand.
A wooden spoon.
We expand their consciousness beyond that they believe or understand that they can, take them out into universal energies.
Okay, now let's go search for that beautiful inner light of yours.
I can see it.
Fantastic. Bring the light out into the area around you, your light field. Good boy. Well done.
I can see it.
And then they can work with the higher consciousness, seeing, because they have the potential to see from every cell in their body.
Now you're going to read a line each.
The other dragons were purple with smooth, shiny scales, but Marmaduke was faded orange with sticky out scales.
Excellent. Good girl.
It's like witnessing a miracle. It's really, it's just beautiful to watch.
George was enjoying a quiet evening in the Heavenly Hippos Wildlife Park. Suddenly, he spotted a group of animals creeping past.
The first time I actually saw it for myself, when I come to do my training, the only word I can think of is emotional. It was very emotional.
Pitter-patter. The rain was tapping, and the windows and the wind was banging.
When my son started to read and I saw him reading.
Our day out is ruined.
They kind of shine. It's just amazing.
No mouse would put a paw out in that weather.
Needless to say, I wanted to know what it felt like to experience the physical world through these blindfolds.
Totally dark. Yes. Wow.
Witnessing these incredible children up close got us on a journey to discovering others around the world who are applying similar methodologies to achieve mind-blowing results. At MPUSA in Ogden, Utah, a blindfold technique called Vibra Vision helps you sense the vibration of various objects in the physical world.
All physical matter in the universe is actually a form of energy that's made up of atoms. And those atoms are cycling or vibrating at a certain frequency. Practicing vibravision gives us the ability to access our sensors and to perceive those vibrations, and then convert it into a usable mental image we call mind sight.
Good. yellow, blue, yellow, orange, blue, green.
We can see the unseen to do things that are thought of as impossible.
8 of clubs, 10 of diamonds, 5 of hearts. 1, 2, 3.
At MPUSA, folks of all ages demonstrate these incredible skills inside the academy and out in the real world.
How about the grilled chicken and sausage gumbo?
Gumbo. Okay.
How much do they cost again?
To $29.90.
Correct. And Colton, what were you just touching?
These are fan boxes.
All right. What color is that?
That's it.
Let's find the Lay's brand. Old Spice body wash. Very good.
From Utah, we make our way to Stuttgart, Germany. There, children are using a different approach to the methodology and display skills with impeccable accuracy. In the beginning, it felt a bit weird when I was able to see without my eyes, but after a while, you get used to it. I was rather skeptical in the beginning, but once I learned it myself, my reaction was, wow, this really works. I believe much more is possible than we know. Human beings have a lot more skills that they could develop. I also have a granddaughter who learned the skill and bops around with the mask here today. I'm amazed how well it works. Groups around the world are using various techniques to achieve very similar results. I decided to investigate the origin of these methodologies, which led me to InfoVision in Moscow, Russia, and its founder, Mark Komisarov, who discovered blindfold perception 20 years ago.
Постарался создать методику, которая, как мне казалось, могла бы активизировать эту способность.
We developed a methodology that first worked with kids. Then I tried it with a blind kid, and it worked too. Then I tried it with adults, and it turns out the methodology also works with adults. And that is what I've been doing for the past 20 years.
Эту способность у любого человека.
That's good.
That's interesting. Hey, Robert deserted us. Where are you, Robert? Get your butt back.
Isn't that
here,
amazing?
Yeah, that's an incredible documentary. Yeah,
it was such a good one. Yeah, that's a really good one. Okay. I shared with Robert. I'll share really quick again right after that video. I was moved to in our show earlier because I had thought of a boy. We had our spring concert yesterday, and he plays violin, but he's what would be called on the spectrum, or what in another school he'd be diagnosed with something. With us, we're just like, it's our little buddy. And he doesn't play. He just hangs it on his chin. He just wants to be with everybody, never participates in orchestra class. We had our performance, and the conductor started, and she started the motions, and he closed his eyes and he just held it, and he played like the most perfect song. It was just, and he's 10. Almost just turned 10. And I was just like, we were moved to tears. We were just like, wow, look at him shine. And so
yeah, it's like I know this child personally, a particular child. He's 7 years old, and he's got a little bit of autism. He reads thoroughly. He's excellent at maths. He can also play a piano. Wow. And when he watches a video, he will actually kind of memorize the words. And 2 hours later, he'll be repeating the words he actually saw on the video.
Of course, they're going to label those children.
I call it. It's got. Exactly. I would say a savant syndrome. You know, which is absolutely magical. But again, that's all in an open mind. You know, I mean, unfortunately, it's sad to say as we grow up, we are mentally conditioned. You can't do this, you can't do that. No, you're wrong, you're right, or whatever. and we are conditioned to conform. That's the word I would say, conform. And I mean, you're not allowed to be a critical thinker. They won't allow it, especially people in the science field, because they're getting paid to do a particular job. They're not paying you to be a critical thinker. You know, we want you to research this. You stick to that. Don't stray down that road. You know, where like we're not interested what your opinions may be about something. We want you to do the study we are paying you for, and that's the trouble with a lot of people in the science field.
Well, and to that point, B, what's interesting now that you mentioned that, I was just making the connection. You know, the cancel culture crap that we've all been subjected to over the last several years, right?
Right.
Well, that kind of tactic has been going on in the sciences for decades. The suppression, particularly in archaeology, Virginia Meyer-Steen, who's one of the she was censored back in the 70s because she was on a dig in Mexico, and they found all these artifacts in these different layers, and they did several rounds of carbon dating using different techniques, and that all came back with it was inhabited by humans 250,000 years ago. And when she published that to go out and get peer reviewed and get published, all the peers reviewed and they pewed. And they said, no, there's just no way that is completely outside of the timeline that we have established as official and authoritative. But the evidence was accurate. And there's so much of that in the archaeological science field. So the censoring has been going on for a long time. Hell, Tesla was censored.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't hear about Tesla in any of the science and history books.
Again, Robert,
the technology that we use came from what Tesla put together and gave us.
Yeah, and I didn't hear about Tesla until I started going down rabbit holes. I never heard about him in school, nothing.
You know, in South Africa, right, where the gold mines were, the ancient gold mines, they call it. Now, at certain depths, they found evidence of civilization going back 200,000 years. Now, as they've been excavating this, now they're finding beneath that there was another civilization. I mean, what's the date? How far does this go back? You know, we want to talk about rabbit holes. See, I mean, that's going deep as far as I'm concerned.
The sites that I've been at in Belize and talking to the Belizean grad students, archaeological grad students, they told me that they're leaning in the direction of the fact that the pyramids are between 20,000 and 200,000 years old. And the Mayans found them abandoned and repurposed them for their own use. You know, at one time there was between 10 and 20 million Mayans from just south of Mexico City to the northern part of Colombia. And good old European diseases killed off a whole bunch. And then they were also, they were vicious, not today. Today they're all short little squatty people and smile a lot. And they're easy to deal with. What are you laughing at, Chastity? Yeah.
Well, Jim, the findings down there that you guys are working on, and I think, you know, they've all of the LiDAR data that they've gotten through Guatemala and Central America over the last couple of years has revealed over 60,000 buildings. They had no idea were there. All kinds of roads and infrastructure.
Yeah,
right?
A very small area too.
Yeah, extremely small. So I think, you know, if you tie a few different theories, like the whole Atlantis model, Poseidon, which is apparently kind of somewhere around where the Bimini or in that region, there seems to be a lot of data that says there was a civilization center around there. The Yucatan, all through Central and Mesoamerica, down in even to South America, was probably where one of the original or even last remaining civilizations of this Atlantean culture actually were. There's more evidence that there's influence from Mesoamerica to the Middle East and to Mesopotamia to the Egyptians and the Canaanites and the Phoenicians than there is coming this way, or you're coming here from there. So you look at those kind of things, and it's all speculation, as B was saying. But the data trend, if you look at it in trend analysis directionally, it's pointing, to my opinion, to the Central American region, that middle part of the Western Hemisphere around the equator is most likely one of the original and last outposts of this previous iteration of civilization that we refer to or call Atlantis. And if that's true, when those people get down there and start digging into all of the stuff that has been buried, and they start finding out that history is completely different. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I am going to be going, Yahoo, thank you very much. Tell us what you got, because it makes more sense to me than the official narrative that academia has given us. That's my opinion.
Good opinion, I tell you. Now, I just realized I had my microphone.
Well, it took you long enough. I was expecting to come out a little quicker than that.
Actually, I was really surprised that you stopped talking. I'm really baffled about that. Is your throat sore?
Michael, great being with all of you tonight. Have a good night.
Nice to meet you, Michael.
Great being with you.
Very nice to meet
Michael.
you.
Good time. Looking forward to more. I'll be in touch, Michael.
Good.
Bye.
Chastity, I saw your message too. Bo wanted to say hi to you, though.
What's that?
Oh.
Bo wanted to say hi to you, Chastity, though.
Oh, I didn't even see my. Oh, sweet.
He's a beagle. A beagle. Is it beagle?
Cocker Spaniel.
Oh,
He's
Cocker
just shaved.
Spaniel.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
My eyes are blurry. I'm having a hard time focusing on anything. I don't know. This has been happening a lot. So I didn't even notice Dog for a minute.
He just came up. He's like, what are you doing, lady?
Oh, so sweet. I love him.
Yeah, I like dogs. They're man's best friend for sure. Yep.
And woman.
Yeah, Moon's got a comment in there about Big Bang, no proof whatsoever. Dogma, evolution, no proof whatsoever. Gravity. And he's absolutely right. I mean, there is no proof. They're all speculation. And actually, what's even more interesting, and I'd love to talk to Michael about this, the major dogmas of science are not the laws. The laws of thermodynamics, the laws of energy conservation, the laws that the universe is nothing more than a bunch of matter that has just magically appeared with, apparently, the Big Bang was infinitely small and infinitely dense. And all of a sudden, for some reason, it supposedly unfolded into the finite with all the rules and regulations and laws and everything that constitutes the material world that we're in. And you go, well, can you all explain that? Terence McKenna's famous statement of, science is all based on give us one free miracle and we'll describe the rest. And it's like, well, because it's all speculation. They're all assumptions. Law of the speed of light, this law of the constants. None of those are constant, and none of them are laws. They're habits. And when we look at it, we've only been measuring this stuff with the telemetry toys and techniques that we have for just the last century. And how much of that stuff has changed. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm in the mode where I don't believe anything I hear. Everything is suspect. And
because we've been bombarded with BS for such a long time.
Well, that's a great place to start, and a reason why. It's like, I'm not going to believe it until I do my own vetting and I have my own personal speculation of, fact or fiction or wherever it is in between, unknown. Because you can't trust any of the authorities in the establishment. Their credibility, they have tanked their own credibility with this inept, suboptimal performance over the last 5 years in particular, but it's been happening for decades. But now it's just all kind of coming out, and once it's like somebody opened the fire hose, said, here's all of the incredible, non-credible shit that we can shove at you. And you sit there, you go, okay, yeah, you're right. It's
but forget,
doesn't make any sense. You can't trust it.
You're forgetting that they're only telling you the same shit they told you last year, the year before, and the year before that in a different order. Yeah, it's like, what type of topping do you want? Do you want chocolate topping or do you want caramel topping? But still the same shit
All of it.
underneath. Underneath, yeah, it's still the same crap underneath. It's just a different flavor on top. And it's, and this what and people are taking all this on board, and they wonder why. Oh, I wonder why I'm putting on weight. It's because you're taking on a lot of BS. That's why. I mean, it's a fact.
That's because you have random shows on the internet and sit around eating Cheetos while you're chewing the fat.
Throwing turds on tables.
Is that what I'm doing wrong? Oh, mate. Well, come on, Jim. Say something, mate. I see you.
No, I'm just
searching the web. Yeah, I know. Hey, I wouldn't be surprised if he's looking at Dancing Girls or something like that, knowing Jim.
Then I would be totally distracted. So
you'd be saying, "I got to go. See you later, guys."
I've seen that look on his face before. He's over there cooking up something in that noggin.
Yeah,
we're gonna get it in a minute.
I know you. I know you received it. I sent an email out earlier today called "UFOs in Argentina." Was the title? It was a very fairly short clip. And I can't seem to find where I put it, but it did go out, and I was wondering if I think when it went to you, Heidi, as well.
Oh, I didn't see it. You mean on Messenger or my email? Oh, you have my regular email.
Email, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything. Maybe that's why you can't find it.
Hey guys, how do you like my background there? Hey?
Mr. B.
I know it's been. It's so great, Mr. B, when you're sitting perfectly centered. The wings are there, and then the light is on your eyes, so it looks like your eyes are like these.
It's like Robert's halo.
Yeah. Hey, well, take that. This is where the buzz happens. You know what I mean? Everybody.
And the bees.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But yeah. Oh. My missus got me that some time back. Yeah, I thought, I felt corny wearing it, but I think it's appropriate.
Great.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, look at my rabbit. Oh God. Love Chastity's smile. It glows. Yeah.
I was wondering, B, if you were starting a line of merch with B for the team bullshit.
Well, no, that'd be like a turd on the table sort of thing.
Oh, that would be a different emoji. Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
Actually, I could be BS in the front and a turd on the table at the back. So
there you go.
So just tell you to go buzz off, huh? That'll be it.
Well, I can use more colourful words than that, Jim, but I won't say it in front of these ladies.
Thanks, Moon.
I have a feeling. Listen to my my cousin Cookie and some of her girlfriends. We have nothing on women when it comes to potty mouth. So,
right. That's been my experience.
These two ladies we've got here, right, Heidi and Chastity. I have never came across ladies before in my whole life that are so bubbly. I mean, I woke up one morning, just half asleep, and there's Chastity doing this dance thing, and
got you moving, right? You were
talk about disco queen. I mean, she was putting these young fillies to bloody shame. She was really shaking the booty there. You know what I mean?
I watched it. Yeah,
she's a young filly herself.
And then there's Heidi. And I mean, the excitement of it all. She can. I mean, I've got you characters. I've got you all picked out and stereotyped. You know what I mean? It's unbelievable, and it's lovely, and it's refreshing. It's great. And then we got our linguist.
Both of them remind me of a fine glass of champagne. It's got that sweetness to it, and it's got the little bubbles and stuff. And you take that first swig, and it bubbles in your face, and you're like, up your nose, and you're like, oh, this is wonderful.
Yeah. Hey, they don't need bubbly or weed to have a good time. They're just naturally bubbly.
Yeah,
themselves. They really are.
Bubbly knocked me out. Bubbly used to knock me out. I like the dark hard stuff.
Heidi,
men.
I was going to show you this T-shirt I've got. I've got a T-shirt. It's an oversized one. And I actually pick it up from a swap meet. You know, I mean, I thought, send me your address sometime, and I'll package it up and send it to you. It's a men's size suit, over large size T-shirt. It's always good when you're the big guy. I thought your hubby might like that one.
Oh, that's really silly.
It's in good condition. Even that came from like an op shop. It was in good condition.
Nice.
I'd give it a wash and iron it and fold it and send it off to you. Then give it to your
sweet of you thinking of us. That's of you thinking of us. Thank you.
Oh,
So for me or for him? Is it a
No,
4XL tall?
It's for him. It's for him. It's for him. It's all good when you're the big guy. You keep calling him the giant, the big man, you know.
Yes, he's the big man.
And it will fit him. If he's big as you say, this will fit him. It's too big for me, but
okay. There you go.
I'll stand it off. That's for sure. Yeah.
Heidi, what's your four-legged friend's name there?
This is Bo. Bo.
Hello, Bo.
Like the B.O. Hello, Bo. He still smells pizza on my breath.
Sounds like something out of the Waltons, you know, the old TV show.
Yeah, Bo.
Yeah,
yes,
Bo.
he knows what we're talking about. You know, he rescued him. He was speaking of the 101 that Michael was talking about. He was running on the on-ramp.
Now you're talking Jim's talk. Jim's a rescuer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
and
he was a puppy. He was like a puppy mill. He was overbred, probably a runt or something. He had a funky jaw. And he was running on the on-ramp and found him, and he had Arizona tags. No one answered. This lady who finally called back said, yeah, send us money. You can keep him. And we're like, he's been with us 2 weeks.
Hey, by the way, guys, just give me a moment. I'm going for an undrink.
Are you serious, Heidi?
An undrink. I've got to go for an undrink.
Okie doke. What? Oh,
You know-
are
you
you going
know-
to take a wee?
Yes.
I
I call it. Listen, guys, I want to go and do a slash, or I want to go and point Percy at the porcelain, or what?
drain your lizard.
You know, these old guys and the bladder issues, right? I mean, it's something that if you don't take care of, then everybody gets to unenjoy what you have to deal with. So go ahead, B.
I'll be back in a minute.
Oh, jeez.
That's funny. That's funny.
So Heidi, 2 times in one day.
I know, right? We're on a roll, man.
I'm feeling
tired. That's why my glasses are on. I'm like, I had got up early for that one, just to like do my morning routine.
I was actually on with Sherry before y'all went on. So
that's what she said. Yeah.
That's tomorrow night, right? Are you tomorrow night? Is it airing
No,
tomorrow?
I think I forgot what she told me.
Okay.
When
I
she
think
was
I
gonna
saw
air
the
it.
thumbnail. I think I saw the advert. I put
you?
notifications, so it's already up. Yeah. I mean, it's not
is it?
airing. No, it didn't air. It just said notification, like
Oh.
scheduled.
Oh,
so
got
it's
it.
coming. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
good for you. I love that.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. And I'm honestly, I asked her 2 days ago, so I was so excited she could do it. You know, it was just like it was a chance, and I really thought that was a beautiful dynamic with Mr. Bauer.
Yeah.
They had a nice balance. I'm like,
Mr.
everything
Bauer.
happens
That
for a
made me
reason.
emotional when Robert. I started crying.
Oh my gosh! And then I know, and then my dumb ass is like, "Yes, we garden." After you just cried, it made me cry. I was like, "We're gardeners too. What about you, Sherry?" And she's like, "Well, I just want to address what Robert said." I was like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah.
I was trying not to cry. Post mistake.
it was an amazing time, and
Yeah.
that's the kind of thing like we're doing now, having these conversations that are connecting different people in different places with different backgrounds, all sharing similar perspectives, and being able to explore those perspectives and discover what might be in there, and being open to that. The whole idea of having open conversations on interesting subjects with respect it's a lost art, but we are trying to make a comeback with it. I mean, you have got to have the ability to throw your stuff on the table and know that it may or may not resonate, but you have to throw it with the caveat of, this is my opinion, this is my speculation, not sure about this or that, but what do you think?
And somewhere along the line, you'll find some middle ground with someone, even if they don't agree with you 100%.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. We're building community. That's the spiel. That's the shtick.
Yeah.
Let's build community.
And it's so wonderful to experience it when it happens, and doing it, impromptu, live, throwing your stuff out there and taking your laundry and hanging it out in front of everybody on the interweb. It's like, well, you got to have some. You got to have some sense of either humility or lack of respect for yourself to be able to say, I'm just gonna throw it out there.
Oh no, lack of respect.
I think that's what I said. Yeah. But I mean, you have to have at least that. But if you have at least enough confidence in thinking about knowing who you are as a person and knowing that you may not know it all, but you at least the grasp that you have, you'd like to share and exchange with others. And that ability to do that is part of I think the human experience. One of the reasons we iterate in these carbon-based meat sacks, so that we can experience this emotional extremes and realm of just magic and wonder, and trying to keep it real enough to have fun with it and learn from it. So
I like your description. Carbon-based meat sacks.
Yes, meat sacks. There's the shirt. Hi, B.
That's what it sure as hell feels like, especially right now.
Well, that's the non-political but scientifically accurate definition.
Yeah. Nice.
B, I love that shirt. There you go. I love that shirt.
Yeah, we'll organize it later on.
Nice. Well, do you know what I was just talked to the class this week? We were talking about, what were we talking about? I think one of the characters in our play, we're kind of doing this take. Well, I'll tell you about it in a minute, but it was about getting in your body, out of body versus in your body, and like processing or whatever. And then they're just talking about bodies. Aren't our bodies amazing? Like, look what we can do. And and we're doing theater games and stuff. And then I said, you guys know what I call my body? And they're like, Miss Heidi's body. And I'm like, it's my meat suit. And they're like, they thought that was, and then I heard them on the playground, like, get your meat suit over here. We're running our meat suits around the track. Let's go. Meat suit race.
Nice.
I haven't had a call from a parent yet, so this is good.
Well, that's the thing, is that when you get real about reality, you have to acknowledge some fundamentals. Meat suit, carbon-based meat suit, meat sack. One of the things that, and I'd love to talk to Michael again about Aztec, he didn't mention, which is in the middle of that date range from 41 or 33 to 49. And I'm going to be going there in about a month and go check it out myself. It's like, this is going to be amazing, because that was one of they crashed on a mesa or a plateau, and they had to go in and sequester the whole area, and they built concrete platforms in order for the aircraft to come in, the helicopters come in and lift this thing out, because they couldn't take it on any roads. I think I want to go see what the frequencies are like there. I bet there's a remnant frequency stamp that I would like to try to find and tune into. But we're getting this amazing exposure of all this incredible knowledge, and it's all the real stuff. And it starts with being able to be real with yourself and who you are, and then let's go play with this reality thing and all this new data, because it's pretty interesting in my book. In fact, it's damn curious. So if you have a overly fertilized field of imagination like me, your curiosity gets in there and runs around and gets lost in the stocks. Awesome, because there's so much awesomeness to be had. I'm sorry if my optimism may be a little overbearing, but I've had an incredible day, and I'm just kind of letting you all have
It's
it.
not overbearing.
Optimism's
I love it.
awesome.
Yeah.
I loved it. We had just a little Japanese or show. What's it called? The movies with
Anima?
sub dub or whatever.
Oh,
The dog's barking, and I was like, "Oh, it's not him," but I could hear the dogs. Never mind. I'm so tired. I do have to dip out pretty soon, though. I hear everybody's fading a little bit. I love the optimism power. That's what it's all about. So you were circling back for you, Mr. B, about the power of positive thinking. I missed the
That's
beginning. I'm sorry about that.
It's all right. You got to be optimist. Yeah, you got to be an optimist. I mean, look, be honest. I mean, I won't go in too depths, but I've been going through my own little problems lately, and of course, it can pull you down and make you feel bad. But my way back is to think positive, and focus on yourself. It might sound selfish, but you've got to focus on yourself. Bugger everybody else. Don't give a shit what anybody else thinks about you or what they say or whatever. Just focus on yourself and say, "Hey, I am more than a conqueror. I can overcome this too." Because hey, I'm 73, going on 74 in a couple of months. I've been through a lot in my life. I know I've been through, and this is just water off a duck's back compared to what I have experienced in life. And Jim would relate to that. And that's life. That's what they call living life. Living life is about falling over, kicking your toe, and swearing 5 different languages. You know what I mean?
I look back, what I've done, and there's some things I've done that I even 30 years later, I'm dumbfounded I was able to pull it off. Really? I mean,
or you wonder how come you never ended up in jail.
I came close. Oh, trust me. If I'd been caught for a lot of stuff I did, I would still be living in Kansas.
Yeah.
Actually, I was talking to, if you don't mind me butting in here, I was talking to a good friend of mine, and I says, "Well," he says, "I love to go and live in America or Australia, from the UK." And I said, "Well, why don't you?" He says, "Because I've got a criminal record." And I said, "Well, if you don't mind me asking, what is it?" He says, "It's weed. I got busted with weed." And I said, "Yeah, well, I can't see how they can knock you back going to America to live I mean, when you were a kid, you got busted with weed because they're making the frigging stuff legal over there. I mean, they're going to make you pay for something that it's legal now. You know what I mean?"
Yeah.
And he says, "Oh, I never thought about it like that." But it's how things change, to suit themselves, But
well, you can only imagine, those of us that I started consuming cannabis at the tender age of 13. And so I've been consuming it now for 53 years. Back when in the 70s in Southern California, it was like, it was all the code stuff, the nickel bag, the dime bag, and, and I had, at one point I had a 65 fastback Mustang, and I didn't realize how incredible that car was going to be 40, 50 years later. But in that car, I had at least a half a dozen stashes of just joints, and they would go into the wind visors, or I had these little pockets where I would stash the joints in the car. So I'd be going down the road, just reach down, pull out a joint, light it up, and go down the road. And the risk that we took doing that, and all of the ridicule and just the spankings we got for doing that. And now you can buy it in any state just about and have it shipped anywhere you want. It not only comes in all these wonderful, flavorful new types of hybrids, but now there's gummies and there's drinks and there's oils. And it's like,
my lungs can only do that if I do that. Yeah.
You're better off digesting. You're always better off digesting it rather than smoking it. But as you're saying there, Robert, you know what I mean? The way it's all changed now.
Mm-hmm.
The way it's all changed now. I mean,
I don't want the state making my product. Yeah, there's some product though that's making people, it's not. I'd rather take my mom's stuff she grew in the backyard, even though I used to flush it because I won the Nancy Reagan Just Say No campaign.
They used to say marijuana. They used to say marijuana.
Then it was all balls out.
they used to say marijuana is a gateway drug. Well, it's not a gateway drug. It's the people you
No.
freaking buy it off at a gateway.
You know, the only thing
Yeah.
that weed or marijuana is a gateway to, the refrigerator.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah,
and a good laugh at a funny movie. I remember
Yeah,
one
yeah.
time. Hey, can I reminisce here for a sec? I remember I sat down with about a few mates, and we had one of those party bongs, you know, with the octopuses coming out. And we were totally off the planet. And we sat down and watched this particular movie. Now I don't know if you know it. It's called Fritz the Cat. Does anybody ever seen this movie called Fritz the Cat?
Yes.
No, but I love your reaction.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, Fritz the Cat it's a cartoon.
It was
right?
it was X-rated, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Fritz will end up in a bath with two girls. You'll be pissing off a bloody skyscraper building, you know. I mean, it's insane. And I tell you something, you'll be pissing yourself laughing halfway through, before 10 minutes into the movie. I mean, you'd be just rolling over, you know, just escalate that being stoned. I mean, I'll tell you something, it's a good movie. Now you guys, you can find it online in YouTube. Go Fritz the Cat.
I'm looking it up.
And Fritz the Cat, the movie. And I tell you something, you'll laugh. Chastity, have a good laugh tonight when you'll piss yourself laughing, mate.
Yeah. I'm probably about to do that right now. I'm gonna head out, guys. I'm getting uncomfortable. I want to go lay down.
You said that about 20 minutes ago.
I know, but I was pushing through because I wanted to stay with y'all.
Can I ask you something before you go, Chastity?
I'd stay with you guys.
Can I ask you something, Chaz?
I love y'all. Thank you for having me.
Will you come back to us again? Because I know Jim
I'm glad that I came. I
on
just
you.
wasn't feeling myself for a little while, but I've got myself back together, so we're good.
Wait, even if you're feeling down, come in, and we guarantee we'll put a smile on your doll. Okay.
Okay, you bet. I love y'all. I'm gonna probably still watch y'all though.
We don't take no for an answer. Isn't that right, Jim? We don't take no for an answer.
Okay.
It's not in our vocabulary. Okay.
Thanks, Chastity.
I'll come
Thanks,
next Saturday. I'm gonna
Chastity.
still watch you guys. I'm gonna still watch
Have a
you
wonderful
guys
time,
from bed.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm gonna trail you out in just a minute.
Good
I'm gonna
night.
trail
All
you
right,
out.
good night. Love y'all.
Goodbye, hon.
She's a sweetie.
Lovely lady. Lovely.
I'm
indeed.
making my final round. I'll be winding out too. I'm so grateful to have seen y'all again. Sorry I missed out last week. We had the
So when are we
TBJ.
having our semantic circle there, Heidi? I mean,
another.
our
Let's do
second
our.
bout.
You have a life we don't. So
Oh, stop!
Yeah.
Stop!
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do a
This is-
jammy jam. Let's do another jammy jam. What would our circle? Another. I was thinking that across the planet, get together, pals from across our little geo points. Lighten up the geo points.
Neil would like that. Neil, he had a wonderful
Yes.
show. Did you watch his show yesterday? It was really good.
Well, I caught the last 15. I tried to get him to do a cartwheel, but he couldn't see my comments because I saw that patch of grass. But I did get a very interesting message after. I think he had hit the pub.
Yeah,
And I got a few-
he called me up about 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. No, it's actually about 4 in the morning. He was pissed. I'm
saving that one. I'm going to air
you're
that.
drunk. I said, you're drunk, aren't you? And he said, yep. Yeah, he's having a way. He's staying in this old Tudor house within the castle's grounds, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's gorgeous, It's absolutely gorgeous, And he loves the castles. He really does, So
Hey, it's
anybody out there,
wonderful.
look for Castle Dude on YouTube. Hey, Neil is a great guy, and it's educational. It's fun to look at the castles, and also it's got a touch of spookiness about it, And it's nice. It's a good show. Good.
Yeah,
comedy.
and the castles
Yeah,
do
yeah.
too. Neil is spooky enough, but those castles.
Those
are
castles
spooky
spooky too.
Yeah, it's excellent.
Hey,
isn't it?
Martin, you got a shirt coming from Oz. The Giant's here. Will you say hi?
Yeah. Show him.
Hey, will you walk? He can't. He won't. She's in the. It's all good. You're with the big dude. He just watches MMA, his MMA fights.
I've got to watch it. I've got to watch it at 9, and I'll pack it up and send it off to you.
Oh, I'm taking a screenshot. Hold it up. There you go.
Okay. Screenshot. Hold on. Let me open it up first.
Can't resist. Thank you. That's so cool. Perfect. Perfect.
But anyway.
All right.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, I'll make my I'll bow out. And yes, I'll plan out that circle. I'm on spring break soon, so I'll be bugging y'all every day.
Oh yeah, okay. Sweet. Hey, you have a wonderful evening. Okay, and
thank you.
Yeah,
do the same.
Yeah, make sure.
Jim, good to see you, Jim.
Make sure the big dude spoils you rotten. Okay.
You got it. Absolutely.
Yeah,
his patience is a lot of spoiling too. I just got gifted all these hand-me-downs. They're like covering the upstairs. I'm doing spring cleaning. So I'm like, I'm going to take this closet apart and this closet, but I forget to put it back. So it's like everywhere right now.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us. Much
you.
Appreciated. Yeah. Lovely.
It was fun. It was fun to meet Michael too. So you guys have a good night in the chat too. And good night, everybody. Good night, fellas. Have a beautiful
night,
day.
Heidi. Thank you.
All right.
Well, how about that? It's been a really good day.
Yeah.
Really good. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And I think it's getting close for us. Yeah. So we're up to the 2 hour and 12 minute mark. So
yeah, I'm running out of energy. I haven't been able to get much sleep lately. I have the allergies here right now are so terrible. But it was 78 today. It's supposed to be 61 tomorrow. It's supposed to rain. There's supposed to be a fret coming through. So Robert, you may get it the day after tomorrow.
Yeah, they're talking about it was the last 3 or 4 days. It was damn near 70 and sunny here. And so I went outside, I got a bunch of stuff done. And then I ended up going, damn, it's nice out here. And I sat in the chair. And an hour later, I woke up and I went, oh, it's really nice out here. That was unscheduled nap, but it was so beautiful. It's just been gorgeous. But we're supposed to drop about 15, 20 degrees over the next couple of days. Yeah, so keep it down. Keep it down there.
You'll have to fight with Heidi over that one, mate. Yeah, a good one. Anyway, guys, I think we'll call it quits today. Hey, I'm getting tired myself. I didn't get much sleep last night, believe it or not. But anyway,
okay. He called me. Was it 3 o'clock in the morning when you called your time?
Me? Was it 3 in the morning? Yes, it was.
Yeah,
it was. I saw you online. So I'll rat bag the old bugger. Yeah.
So, I mean, I was dumbfounded. I thought maybe something critical happened, but
no.
Yeah, his bladder probably woke him up.
You're not. You're psychic. You are psychic.
And no, it was probably the pillow that his wife was holding over his head.
Yeah.
That's what woke him up.
Yeah.
Anyway, listen. Look. Yeah, Karen.
My last one. If she could have found a way to kill me, she would have.
Anyway, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us tonight in the chat. And sorry, I've been really engrossed what everybody's talking about. Sorry if I haven't been clicking a lot of stuff up on the screen. I do see you guys, and I appreciate you joining us. And remember, guys, be nice, be kind, and aspire to inspire one another. That's very important, because if we can lift each other up, we can all rise up together. And that's what our friend Doc Skinner used to say. Correct, Jim?
Yep.
Okay.
And,
so catch you later, everybody.
Sweet
Over
dreams.
and out. Yeah. Anyway.
Robert,